Hey everybody. So we are going to start talking about volume today. In particular, we're going to talk about volume of a couple different things. So we're going to do volume of prisms and cylinders. Now the reason why we're going to do volume of those two shapes today is because they do have something in common. Even though cylinders are not polyhedra because they have rounded parts, right? We do know that they do have something in common, and that is that they both have two bases, right? So cylinders and prisms both have two bases. So their volume of those two things, they're going to have something in common. How we're going to find the volume of just those shapes in particular. Yeah. Snag a new marker here so that you guys can actually see. There we go. All right. So, we're not going to really focus on formulas necessarily. Basically, to find the volume of anything with two bases, you're going to do the same thing. The volume is going to be area of the base times the height. That's for any prism or cylinder. It's going to work the same way. You don't need any formulas. The only thing you need to know how to do is find area of the base. You multiply that times the height. Now, the base, as we've been talking about, the base could be a lot of different shapes, right? So some of those polygons, you don't know how to find the area of the base yet. Like, for example, you don't know how to find a pentagon, the area of a pentagon, because you have to find, like, the apothegm and all this other jazz, right? So you guys don't know how to do that yet. So they might give you the area of the base. For example, if they say, hey, here's this pentagonal prism. It looks like this. Right? And they say the area of this base of the pentagon is 740 meters squared, and maybe they give you the height is 10 meters, right? All you're going to have to do is follow the simple formula, area of the base times height. Now this time they give you the area of this base, so you're just going to do 740 times the height, which is 10. Now the height, this is actually important, I guess. The height doesn't mean it goes up and down. It means it connects the two bases. So remember, those two bases could be any way that we want it to be. So when you say height, usually you think of how tall it is. It just means what connects your two bases. That's the height. So in this case, our height is 10. We just do that, and our answer is going to be 7,400 meters cubed. Volume is always going to be in units that are cubed because you did three things times each other to get there. Right? Or in this case, we had 2 meters. We had one more meter. That's 3 of them. So we have 3 measurements. That's meters cubed. Now, things that you do need to know how to find the area of. You should know how to find the area of a rectangle. Which is length times width. You should know a triangle, which is 1/2 base times height, or base times height divided by 2, however you learn that. And you should also know a circle, which is pi r squared, where r is obviously the radius. Those areas are things that you should know how to do. So all of those are kind of up for grabs. Everything else, you probably don't know how to find the area of, so they'll probably give it to you. So maybe they give you a triangular prism, like this one. And we're going to need to know some stuff. So inside of this triangle, maybe they tell you this over here is 16 feet. And then over here, they're going to give you this kind of dashy line again with a right angle with it. And maybe around this triangle here, they're going to tell you this side's 6 feet. This is 8 feet, 8 feet. And inside here, this is 5 feet maybe. Okay. So, a lot of measurements that I don't necessarily need. So remember volume, all we need to know is area of the base times height. So the base is a triangle because it's a triangular prism. So I need to look at this triangle and find the area of the triangle. That's 1/2 base times height. But what you need to know about a triangle is when you find this right angle, this thing is called an altitude. And it makes a right angle. It's perpendicular to the base. Those are going to be the two numbers that we need. The base is this number that has the right angle next to it. The height is the number that's on that side that makes the right angle. So for this triangle right here, we don't actually need either of those 8s. But we need 1/2 times 5 times 6. Or 6 times 5, I guess. So the area of this triangle part is going to be 15 feet squared. And then we're going to take that. So we did area of the base. That's 15. The height is 16. So all we have to do is that times 16. And that is going to give us our volume of 240 feet cubed. So quick recap. Found the area of the triangle by using 1/2 base times height. Multiplied it by the height, which is 16. That's the whole thing for volume. Let's do one cylinder and we'll call it a day. So, let's say we have a radius of 11 millimeters. And over here we have 20 millimeters. So again, my base is a circle in a cylinder, right? It's kind of like a circular prism if you want to think of it that way. So we got to do this area of a circle formula. So my radius, make sure it's the radius, right? If they give you the diameter, which is all the way across the circle, you only need 1/2 of it. We only want this much of it. So in this case, they gave us the radius. So we're going to go pi times 11 squared. I just preheated that. Make sure when you put this in your calculator that you do the 11 squared part first and then multiply it by pi. And I don't care if you use 3.14 or if you use the pi button. Both of those are fine. But I got 379.94 about. So that's the area of the circle. Our last step, multiply it by the height, which in this case is 20. So when I multiply that by 20, I get a volume of 7,598.8 millimeters cubed. That's pretty much it. So as long as it has two bases, any prism, any cylinder, you're going to do area of the base times height, and then just make sure that when you label it, your units are going to be cubed because it's volume. That's all I got for you. All right. Next one is going to be volume of pyramids and cones and spheres, actually. And that'll be the next group of volume. Okay? See you later.